She probably gonna see the live.
Our special guest today is beautiful.
This is special podcast. See, we can't cut up over the intro. They don't know we cutting up right now. They wouldn't even know.
Welcome to Between the Sheets. What? We were going to change things up. We decided not to do it. Sorry, Shannon. This is a Dana call.
Yeah, sorry. Y'all know. Y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Podcast shouty in the building.
Between the Sheets with Leah.
Yeah, last time I took over the intro. So go ahead, hit the intro proper so I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know I'll be cutting up.
This is Between the Sheets with Leah. I am your host. And I have my co-hosts here as well.
Hey, my name is Dana Keith, father, filmmaker, and creator.
What?
Owner of Dana Keith Film. And today, I got my co-host in the building.
Woo! WHITNEY, period.
Period.
Yes.
Duh.
All
right.
Oh,
and then
I can't hear nothing anymore.
We got a very special... Look, Leah over here messing with stuff. She don't even know. She don't even know.
I can't hear. Oh, there we go.
I feel like I
there
hear
we go.
wind.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, good. We're good. We're good.
Every time you hit the mic because you're with who is that?
What?
The
I can't hear what you're hearing.
Is that not me? Do you hear it?
I heard a little bit.
All right. Anyways, hello, welcome to the podcast, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
This is how we always start. This is how we do.
This is what really goes on. But we have a special guest. Can we introduce our special guest, please? We got Juelz in the building.
Very
Juelz, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Juelz Ramirez, and
Ow.
I'm a producer of Daily Dose 719.
Yes.
Dope.
As well as community member, entrepreneur, amongst many other things. Mom, friend, homie, whatever.
I love this. This is dope. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like you are a perfect fit for like what we got going on.
Yes.
And it's good to collaborate now, especially that y'all have met a couple times.
Yep.
And Juelz is a part of my journey as well. So like this is super dope. So let's go ahead and start the podcast.
Yes.
What is our topic today? Because I feel like you have a topic that you really are trying to slide on us.
Right.
We're gonna interview Juelz. But I feel like you got somebody up your sleeve. What's going on, Leah?
Well, always, you guys know how I roll. Always. I just kind of let things come to me. And I had it in my heart for this podcast to talk about the harvest and kind of that waiting game of planting that seed and then waiting for that harvest to kind of prosper. And that waiting game was tough.
Yeah, talk about that waiting game, like in your journey.
You know, I tend to be one that just like makes moves very, very quick. And sometimes it's actually too quick for my own good. I like to press the button on things very fast. And I can't say that I waited for a lot.
Yeah.
And if I'm just being 100% honest, I feel like I've just moved. And again, that's kind of bit me in the butt a few times, you know, just moving a little bit too fast and not having the patience to wait on the harvest.
Do you feel like that process of like going and failing is kind of a waiting process for what's next, but you have to go through the process itself?
Yes, I really do. I feel like, you know, if I look back to some of the, you know, trials and tribulations that I faced in either just jumping and not waiting and not being patient and just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You do have a little bit of failure in that, but yes, you do learn so much in that process as well. So I think that there's two ways that you can look at it. There's the waiting game that you are really learning patience and you're wondering and you're guessing, is this ever going to happen? And then there's the other spectrum where like you jump and then it's like, oh crap, I did this a little too soon. I made too many moves too fast and I didn't have all my P's and Q's in order. So
What pulls to you on that, Juelz? You got anything that you relate to?
All of it. Like I've been waiting on things for years, but like it definitely is a process, and like you're learning things along the way. That speaks to me. Like I've learned a lot over the past few years. I'm like, and I always joke, you know, when do I stop being an entrepreneur and I just become a business owner? Like when does that transition happen? But I mean, I'm learning, so that's a great part of it.
Yes, the wisdom, the knowledge that comes in between that.
That's a
patience.
great topic, that difference.
Yes,
like
it's
entrepreneur
so powerful.
and business owner.
Yeah, when you said that, that too kind of was like, wait, okay, well, what's the difference? Hold on. What's the difference?
So talk about that. Talk about that process of.
So yeah, to me, I mean, I think, you know, the entrepreneur is like the development stage of like creating those processes for your business and creating the partnerships and all of that. Whereas like the business side is when you have the clients, maybe you have the process. Some people, they don't believe in process. That's fine. They still running a business, you know? So Yeah, just that's the main difference is like, haven't really launched a business, but I'm still in that field of, putting stuff together for a business.
Yes.
So
You know what I love is that I did things completely the opposite way. Again, talking about just pushing the button. I just decided to run a business and didn't have any foreground about how to run a business.
Yeah.
Right. Me too.
I didn't know how to price myself. I didn't know about contracts.
This is a full-time job over here. Whitney, did you just give up? She just gave
Not
up.
gonna work today, y'all.
She's like, I'm sick of this. I'm over this.
You're not. We're gonna figure it out next time.
That's
Thank you for tuning in. Who was in it?
Ask questions if you have questions.
That's for the Facebook Live. Anybody listening on Spotify?
Sorry, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Whitney just gave us. She's like, fuck this shit.
That's another lesson in itself.
Yes.
Part of the process.
Part of the process.
Entrepreneur business owner.
Sometimes you want to throw
Trying.
up your hands and just say, okay, I quit.
I think what you were talking about was the systems, and some people
Yes.
don't have it organized, but they have the clients like figuring it out. Like that is a funny like the waiting game for the harvest, like figuring that out. Because I feel like, I've had a process down for a while, but it wasn't on paper. And then it wasn't consistent with everybody. You know what I mean? And then once I got that process down, it's like, how do I get more clients? I've been working on this process for so damn long. I feel like when I ain't have a process, I had all the clients.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
It's all over the place. You can go from having all of the business aspects and have that in line, and then you don't have the clients, or you can have the clients and then you're struggling because, I don't have the contracts and I don't have the process. So it's
Right.
a twofold.
How much of it is mental? Like how much of it is the first process mental? Because for me, I feel like the majority of it is mental. Like to try to write down my entrepreneurship process would be really hard. I feel like just because of what my job entails, and it's forever changing.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I get stuck in the process. I'm like trying to finesse it to be this perfect thing.
Right.
And then never get to like the implementing part of it. So I'm like, I like to plan.
Yeah.
The execution part, I struggle.
Right.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Talk a little bit about, you and I had kind of a sideline conversation before we started, and you were talking about the program that you were involved in.
yeah, because let's take a step back, because Juelz has her hand in a lot of different pots. So like briefly, if you could give us an overview of what you have going on, because I don't think we really dove into that in the beginning.
Right.
And then also bring it back to the Thrive, because I think that's like a very key part that a lot of people can take away, especially on this podcast.
And if I can just interject on that, tell me where your dream started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that interjection, Leah.
I think 2016 challenged me in a lot of ways. So I lost my dad to leukemia, and he was huge in the community, and he had so many people at his bedside, and like seeing that and witnessing that, I started thinking about legacy and what does that mean for me? And I was finishing up college at that same time. And so I was getting a degree in education and with the intent of, teaching high schoolers. And so Trump was elected that year. Just like so many things were happening in 2016 that I was like, okay, I need to do something and do something meaningful and do something for my community, Southeast Colorado Springs. And so that's when I started getting involved in community work. I was just, volunteering my time. I got involved with this group for Transforming Safety, which is a grant program that basically their goal is to reduce crime before it happens. And so it's putting resources into community as a way to prevent crime.
Right.
And so I'm like, am I bumping something?
You're good. No, it's my, he's going to say it's my mic. I know, it's my mic. I got to have a little bit of a cover on it.
I'm not going to say anything.
I already know. No, I already know what he was thinking.
You want to know something? I'm going to just be honest, because these are pairs.
Oh my God.
And I like these to be pairs. But we have 3 different mics, so like I'm not going to say anything else.
Look, we work with what we got in the beginning.
Right.
We work with what we got, and then we move.
Yeah,
We can't all be.
Dana Keith celebrities.
Come on. I'm not let's settle this. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have. All right, I do got fans.
Celebrity.
This is a good look. Look, this is a good learning lesson.
But look, let everybody know. Leah is head honcho in this building.
Yes, she
You know
is.
what I'm saying?
Yes,
Dana
she
Keith do
is.
not got what y'all think he got. You know what I'm saying?
But Dana Keith has wisdom and knowledge.
I got that spirit. I got a lot of experience, the wisdom stuff. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm a little country, so if y'all could deal with me, like then it's over. Like we're gonna go to the moon.
So we use that wisdom and we use and apply that knowledge to
Right.
like getting other things or you know
Right.
learning.
Right.
And
Or
I
just-
hear it now, Dana.
or just using my mic that's right next to us. Like we have it here.
Oh.
Using the resources, right?
Look at his eyebrows. Oh my god.
Whitney, what's going on, Whitney? How you doing, Whitney?
I'm doing great.
Are you
today.
okay? Look,
I'm
are we
doing-
okay with what's going on? Can we talk about that?
yeah, let's talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Look, Juelz had a great message. She was getting into the community
Yes.
because of something that she saw in her father that left legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
And
That's more important to me.
100% because and
100% more important than you.
not what I was going to say, but at all. You know, what I love about what you said in that as well is that people think and the harvest comes after you plant a seed. But most of the time, before you plant a seed, you're sowing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. And so you're sowing into the community. And people think that, you know, when you talk about the word sow in church, people automatically assume that it means giving money or giving tithes. And really, it can be your time. It can be volunteering. It can be work that you're doing within the community that you are sowing an actual seed in that community itself. And those sowing then produces reaping.
Right,
fruit.
right.
And it
Like-
did for me.
Yes, yes.
In a
So-
major way.
Yeah, so speak about that.
So yeah, after I got involved with this group for transforming safety, I was basically introduced to like so many people throughout the community, elected officials, leaders, nonprofit leaders, business owners, everything. And so from there, it just like opened so many doors for me. And I was able to get a job as the Southeast Community Coordinator. And so my job was literally to show up in community and connect people with opportunity and
beautiful.
resources and all of that. And so I got to lead a training, like a 10-week program, got like 50 people.
And you were
trained.
being trained in the process.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Dang.
They were grooming you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And
trainee becomes the teacher.
Yes.
yeah. So in that whole process, I got introduced to a program, Thrive Network, and it's an entrepreneurial training where they basically equip you with like knowledge and the mindset and everything to be an entrepreneur. And they want you know to start a business in Southeast Colorado Springs to help revitalize our local economy. And I learned a lot.
That's awesome.
I like that you had asked the question, even so, like with the community number one that you chose, but in the process of learning and growing and you're being taught something, what I love is that you made an action step. All she had to actually do was just throw herself into the community,
Into the
and then
community.
everything started to happen for her.
Yeah.
God, that's such a powerful message.
It is. But that's that message
that
about that
action.
action. Just
That's
one little
action.
actions towards your dream. People think that you have to jump
Yeah,
big.
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
break this
yeah.
down. Let's break this down because I think this is a message to somebody, and somebody needs to know this. Is that when we talk about action, like it's not this really complicated thing. It's something so simple
Yes.
as putting yourself into the community. Like
And then
just
things
go,
start to
and
just
then
work
then
its way.
things.
Yeah.
You were watering, and then
Yes.
things started to flower. Right. All right. I'm gonna say this because I think that your message kind of touched me in a way. I was like, this is why I heard this morning. So, I listened to motivational speeches this morning. It was about Jim Rohn, and it was like financial stuff. But he was talking about like a tree doesn't grow to half its potential. Like a tree plants its roots and digs as deep as it possibly can. It can first, and then it grows to be as tall as it can. But it plants its roots
Underneath.
first,
Yes.
underneath.
Yes.
And I felt like where I'm at in my life is just trying to plant my roots as deep as I can so that when the tree does grow and the fruit does harvest, like then it can feed more people because if your
Yes.
roots ain't deep enough,
It's gonna
then
come up.
it's not
Yeah.
produce the fruit. And
Yeah.
especially not at the capacity of the amount that you need it to do.
Yes.
Right? That the tree was meant to produce for.
Yes.
I don't know why.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
like, that was the message I had this morning.
half of the growth in a seed happens underground before you see anything prosper above. Everything is happening underneath. If you actually look at a picture of any kind of plant, a tree, anything like that, it is doing all of the work underneath and it's going super, super deep.
Right.
Before you start to see any sprouts of progress on the top, before you see any petals, any vines, anything, it's all happening underneath. And that's such a powerful message in itself because people don't see that. People always see the outcome,
right?
But they don't see the through.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't see the work.
They don't see the work, what it takes to go through it. So, all right. So catch us back up. So you're in the Thrive community. You're around
You're building your network.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to rewind a little bit, I planted the seed that I wanted to open a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
and where did that come from? Just curious. Like what was the
in my job as community coordinator, I was always having meetings about Southeast Colorado Springs, never in Southeast Colorado Springs because there's just not a good place for us to like go and have these conversations. So I was like, man, somebody needs to open a coffee shop. And so I was like, you know, maybe it's me. And so I told the right person apparently because they had a business plan that they were incorporating a coffee shop in. And so they're like, well, maybe we can partner. And I was like, okay. And so like, maybe you should take the Thrive class. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I dove into Thrive and that was back in 2019. And so I've just been like watering this concept for the last few years.
Yeah.
And waiting for that harvest.
yes.
Talk about that waiting process.
Yes. How has that been? Like really talk about it because there's somebody as well that is in your shoes right now too.
Yeah, it's a different business. It's a different
business.
phase, but it's the same thing. Go ahead.
No, that's exactly what it's a different business. It's somebody else that is in that waiting game and they're like, oh, what now?
Yeah.
You know, and somebody might be on the verge of giving up.
Yeah.
Right.
So in 2020, I thought we were going to hit the green light and I resigned from my job and thinking we were going to, you know, start building out any day now. And then COVID hit, you know. But it actually opened up some more opportunity for me because a business partner of mine, Brandon Del Grosso at Switchback Coffee Roasters, he offered to bring me on as a team member and he was opening up a new coffee shop. And so I got to like go be a team member over there.
Another place to learn.
Yep.
Yeah, like I learned the science behind coffee, which I had no clue about before that. And
Like much like wine, there's so much behind
so much.
coffee.
I had no clue. And I was like, okay, wow, you guys are going to have to help me with this part.
Yes.
But I love that your journey led you into still building those roots, getting that education so you can incorporate it the best way possible.
And it was great because, you know, I got to see the struggles of opening up a coffee shop and how often it's going to get pushed back or like the plumbing issues and all of that. And I was like, okay, this is, okay.
Right.
Learning a lot here. I don't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah. It kind of makes you take a step back when you start to learn the processes that a business goes through. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah. I was a little overwhelmed and even a little like, maybe this isn't it, especially like this last year of like people not even interested in working in the restaurant industry. And I'm just like, oh, but
yeah, a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't see again.
Yeah. What is something that you learned the most, like in the behind the scenes, especially because you got to see it at the start of that business, like actually opening the brick and mortar location was a unique space. But tell me, what did you learn, like as, you know, maybe a striving entrepreneur, something that you didn't know?
I feel like you just got to be willing to like pivot. So whether that's a food menu item or, you know, the hours that you're open, you just got to be willing to like, okay, that's not working.
Yes.
So we're going to try something else.
Find out what does.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And like not let it like throw you off, but just it's an opportunity to try something new. Yeah. So
I love that you said that because there's a lot of people in business that when the shit hits the ground, they stop.
Yeah.
Like they stop. It will stop them, you know, and I've had an experience like that where I've stopped. I was like, that's it, I'm done. And yet then I pivoted later after I had my little cry moment and things like that. I pivoted and said, okay, you know, it's time to move on. It's time to do something different. And pivoting in a business is so important. So important. Yeah.
Because I'm at a space where I'm pivoting when it was great.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't at a bottom anymore. I actually climbed to like a top-ish. And like now I'm pivoting even at a different space.
Yeah.
So I feel that and I almost cry because I love you. But but damn, that pivot is real. And like it's important, but like you have to like be willing to do that. Like as a business owner, like one thing is the most important today. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow it could be at the very bottom. You know what I'm saying? So like
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that though. I love that you were able to see that ahead of the game because that will take you so much further when something does hit the fan. You know, I've had businesses, people within the business that I saw do so much in 2020 when the doors shut down. They could not see clients. They couldn't, they had to stop doing what they were doing, and they pivoted their business to make it work for them during that time.
Right.
If I go back onto the Boudoir Suite page, and I think I might actually bring this up.
Yes.
We've been going back. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the video that I posted of the last podcast
yesterday.
of the first wall going up?
She posted it yesterday.
I found it, and we were talking about it. So then I posted it. But I think it's just so.
Yes,
neat
I saw that, Leah.
to be able to go back and see those things. And we were doing at the old studio when 2020 hit, because we had to shut down too. Even though I'm a small business, and I wasn't as scared of it, as everybody else was. And again, I'm not saying neither here nor there on that whole thing, but. We did have to shut the doors and say, okay, that's it. We can't see anybody, just to keep everybody safe.
Right.
And so I said, all right, well, we're going to start doing lives, and we're going to start giving, the listeners on the Facebook page, on the group page, an opportunity to purchase something now to use within 6 months. And let's discount it just a tad bit, but they are going to, pay for it ahead of time. We started pulling out the lingerie line and said, okay, we're putting this on, and just doing live videos and making things work.
That's a great example of a pivot.
Yes.
A positive pivot.
Yes.
Like, you got to keep doing that.
Yes.
Leah saved me from pivoting.
I was about to say, your ass be pivoting all the time.
Leah saved me. Leah saved me from pivoting.
Hold on. Look at your lashes. Hold on. I just caught a color.
Shout out Juanita. Shout out Juanita. Thank you, Juanita.
You got some color up in there.
You guys want to see Juanita?
I've been had these in my eyes. You're not paying attention. Anyways, Leah helped me not to pivot, because I was at Massage Envy for 7 solid years, and we were shut down. I was without a work for 6 months, and I work with my hands. So I was like, am I going to have to change my career field? Like, is this not what I should be doing? Should I be doing something else? Should I do customer service work? God, just please send me a direction on what I need to do. And then Leah showed up, and we were starting to open back up a little bit, and she provided an outlet for me to, even with the restrictions, still be able to do makeup and do it, safely, of course, by DORA guidelines. But you saved me from pivoting. But I was close to it. I was like, if I got to do customer service work from home to pay my bills, and that's just what I got to do. There's nothing else.
Don't ever take for granted the people that you meet along your journey.
Yes.
What they bring to the table, what they teach you, what you learn from them, don't ever take that piece for granted, because it was never, ever by circumstance.
Never.
Everybody that you have met in your life, whether you saw it or not, brought an opportunity, a thing, to you to further you. Yep. Like it is by design.
Door. Like, I love that.
Yes.
It was by design.
Yes.
It was by design for you to go work for that coffee shop.
Exactly.
That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So did you fall in love when you were there? Were you like, okay, this is it, I want to do it? Or did it scare you? You said you were a little overwhelmed.
It scared me.
Yeah.
It scared me.
So did you back up, or where were you at that point?
So it was just kind of paused throughout 2020. Like, nobody knew what was going to happen next.
What was in your mind? Where were you at? What were you doing at that time?
Just working at the coffee shop and just still trying to do community work in whatever capacity I could. Yeah, 2020 was weird. And then things finally started picking back up. And it actually is starting to align in a way bigger way than I could have ever dreamed.
Yes.
Yeah. So part of that partnership that started from the beginning, they are working on developing a community investment trust. So basically a community owned building.
Look at that.
And they want the coffee shop in there.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they're closer than ever to getting this building. So I'm really hoping in this next year, I'll finally have this coffee shop open.
That is dope.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? Taking all of the wisdom and the knowledge
I can't wait to play this back.
When it's done, right? Yes.
Yeah.
No,
this is why we do this.
Yep.
God, to show the proof.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Proof. Exactly.
The fruit. Show the fruit.
Exactly.
Yeah, we spoke about this. I know all about your journey, but I don't know if every time I hear it is different. But today it just sounds like what you went through. It just means so much more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's just I've grown a lot since, the first idea of this coffee shop. And so I couldn't imagine if I actually did open
how many
a year
times
or two
have
ago.
we talked about this coffee shop in the past 2 years?
Yeah,
You
a
know what I'm
lot.
saying?
Everybody talks about
You
it.
have
They're
to
like, when you opening? Like
that
someday.
piece in itself that you just said is that you couldn't even imagine that had you did, like, maybe something had, aligned, or you were like, no, I'm just going to do it. Don't wait. You did. You did. Put, you did push the button.
Yeah.
And then 2020 hits and it's a brand new business that just opened, and yet God has things in store.
Has some plans.
And he says, okay,
You're
wait.
not supposed to be here.
Hold up.
Even at this location, you might have liked it, but you're not supposed to be there.
He was setting something up for you that
Yo.
was bigger than what you
And
anticipated.
the protection in
When
that.
you open your coffee shop, it's gonna mean so much.
It is.
That's gonna be cool.
That is
I can't
beautiful.
wait.
So what does that look like in your eyes? Like what does your coffee shop look like in your eyes? What do you see?
So it's called Stomping Grounds.
That's so cute.
Yes.
I love it.
Basically,
I get it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of like this for a second, but no.
I know about her business.
It took me a second. Then I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah,
okay, yes,
yeah,
I
like
love that.
Stomping
Yeah.
grounds,
So
but it's
cute. I
also
love that.
stomping grounds.
Yes.
It's hard.
I love it.
Yeah, so part of that is
Do you get
the
it?
play on words. The play on
Yeah,
words,
see?
coffee grounds, stomping grounds.
Yep.
But also just because Southeast Colorado Springs, I feel like we've never really had a place to call our own, a place we're proud of. And so it's just a gathering place for the community and culture of Colorado Springs. And I'm excited. I think it'll bring in all types of people, young, old, everything.
Do you have a visual already for it, or is it just the words? Like, how do you see it?
I mean, I just see it like vibrant, welcoming,
Right.
beautiful, aesthetic. Everybody's going to be on the Instagram in there.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Posting up.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, so
That is so crazy.
I'm excited.
That is good
Wait
stuff.
till we have meeting there.
I know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so
we're
so
good.
when
We're gonna cut up.
We have this now recorded, and
yes.
so we're gonna have a meeting there.
Yes.
And when everything is open, those doors are opening. So
Yes.
I can't wait. That's hard.
you're thinking about in the next year that this is gonna happen. And what also behind the scenes, what do you need? Like, what's the need for the next couple of steps that you have to go through, or that you know?
Yeah. So originally I was thinking I'm doing this all by myself, I don't need business partners. No, I would really love to find somebody that's as passionate as I am in opening a coffee shop. And so, yeah, that's the main thing is
We may have to chit chat a little bit because I think I might know somebody who actually is right up your alley.
yes.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
This is why we have these
That's
conversations.
right. That's right.
What did what did you just
He used
say?
to own a coffee shop here,
Everybody
and
you
he does
meet.
his own.
Everybody.
I don't know what you're doing coffee wise, but he's been in business in Colorado for years. John, I'm talking about you. He used to own Icons, Sotos, and he's still very present in the coffee world in Colorado Springs. And I think he still provides like beans and like services, but he doesn't have his own shop. However, his investment background would probably be. Yeah. Yes. We're going to make that connection right after
That's
this.
right.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yes.
See, like, you were here for a reason. See?
Yup.
Everything
Yes,
is for a
everything
reason.
is by
Yes.
design. Everything.
Man,
is.
that's powerful.
Yes.
Everything.
So you're looking at possibly partnering with somebody. That is what sounds like you're kind of pivoted in that way. Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I can't do this.
Yeah,
but
like
I
wanna
don't
share
want
the
to.
load.
Like,
we need to share the load.
Right.
I mean, because also in the meantime, I was able to launch a video series, Daily Dose 719.
yes. Okay. So
Love
talk about
that.
that, because what is all of that about?
So last year during 2020, another really cool opportunity presented itself to me. Basically, I was working with the Colorado Equity Compass, which they are wanting to share stories by using data in order to help address health equity in Colorado. And so I pitched this idea of like a video series that covers the different social determinants of health. And so everything from education to economy to
That's so
criminal
dope.
justice. And so we were able to put out 6 videos last year covering those different topics.
And you produced those.
I produced them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a learning experience because I've never done anything to that capacity.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was really cool. We're still trying to grow and keep that alive and even build a business model around keeping
Right.
that going. And so that's where I've been really focusing my time these days.
It sounds like you're
on.
starting a whole brand, to be
Yes.
honest with you.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're starting just a hub that's going to have all these different avenues and platforms.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to feed from the same place. That's dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been growing. So like we've been trying to think of new ways to put out content, new content ideas.
And is it a website? Is it an actual website? Is it
Yeah, it's a website and it's on all social media platforms.
Okay.
So
And it's
yeah.
Daily Dose 719.
Yep.
And we're gonna attach that to the podcast so you guys can catch on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all working.
Make sure that you plug into that. Check it out.
Yes.
You know. So what kind of so give me an idea what that looks like, because
Let me live.
I'll just be honest with you. Everything that you said, I don't quite understand. Like, what does all of that mean? Like the health. No, I want to know.
No, this is so funny. This was me back in the day. Health equity, like all of that.
Yeah,
all of
no,
that,
I don't.
all of
Like,
that
I want to know
stuff.
what that means. Like,
So health equity. So a lot of people have been like preaching we want equality in this world, right?
Yeah.
So that means everybody's getting the same thing, but really everybody's different and everybody needs something different, right? And so that's basically what health equity is giving people what they actually need versus just everybody getting something. And so there's been a lot of cases across America, really, where, you know, the communities of color are the ones that have the highest rate of heart disease and asthma and everything. And that's true for Colorado Springs even. And so basically just shining light on that problem, but also showing how community is addressing that today is what Daily Dose has been all about.
dang, that's
See, there's such a deeper like meaning, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or why. Like there's a deeper why that I love about what Juelz has going for her.
Well,
and then her network is fucking powerful.
Well, the community, I was just going to say,
what I was gonna say,
everything in her message has been about community. It's been, you know, so if you were
it's
to draw,
her community.
Yes.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
she's
favorite
staying
part.
within that.
Right.
And
y'all know I live there still.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's the whole part about the revitalization in it, is just trying to bring it to this place where it doesn't have this, you know, oh, that's the hood.
Stereotype.
Or that's the,
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, I hear it all the time. Like, oh, I was looking for apartments and people were saying that's not the good area.
Yeah.
You
It's a
know what I'm
bad side
saying?
of
It's
town.
a bad side of town.
So what does that map look like on the southeast? Like where does that
This
stem
is a
to?
debate. Go ahead, Juelz. Hit us with it.
The southeast map. Yeah. It depends on who you're talking to.
When my parents moved here from Pueblo, it was they said that it started from South Academy, so kind of by the Citadel Mall and down. Is that about right? Is it still the same kind of?
So I like to go off the transforming safety boundary because that was when like a group of people came together and created this boundary. And so basically Platte, South, Powers, West, and then the east boundary or the west side boundary is kind of tricky. It's like I-25 to like
Manitou's
South
its
Academy.
own little area.
Yeah. So and then Milton E. Proby. So
It's the end.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So Milton E. Proby used to be what? Hancock? Is that what the
No,
Hancock
well,
Expressway?
yeah.
General
Drennan.
area.
Yeah.
Drennan. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the corridor of the area that you guys are hitting.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which depending on who you talk to,
Yeah.
they're gonna tell you something different.
Yes. Because I'm in the South.
Yeah.
This is South.
You the real South.
You in Fountain.
That's South. Real South.
Down south.
Yeah, down south. And then, like right before you hit Pueblo. That's when you're
right.
right.
Pueblo is his own category.
Hey, you know what? I'm revitalizing this whole area just with this house. Okay, people drive by and they're like, "Wait, where did that house come from?"
Analyzing this whole
Leah is in her own area.
That's right. They drive by, they're like, "Wait, that house don't belong there." I'm like, "Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's my lighthouse." Okay.
I'm revitalizing this whole area. That's my favorite clip of this whole podcast. That's great.
How many times do you really, like, honestly though, like how many times have we been on there like, "Oh, you live in that White House over there? Oh my God, we saw that from the ground up.
We've seen that being built.
We want to come by, you know." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, come on, come through,
Come see.
come see."
Yes.
Except for when people are being nosy.
And your grass look good. You know what I'm saying? Got some landscaping going
Shout out,
on.
Brian.
Yeah.
Drew it all out.
Drew it all out. Yo,
You know what? But I love so much, like Leah was saying, I love how you and what you're doing in all of the different little branches and avenues focused on your career has all been based about community. And I have to just, of course, give you your flowers and just tell you what you're doing.
Thank you.
Is
Yes.
completely
Right.
selfless.
Right.
Like
right.
people in this world don't give a damn about other people's health, well-being, their
Right.
ethnicity, what they
Yeah.
go through. So
Right.
you guys are heroes for real, for real.
Yes.
And it's cool because
Yes.
she's grown up in she had like a childhood home in there, and she
Yeah.
still stays there. So like she has a really deep root within the
Yes.
community. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of cool too.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, and then you got to be proud too that she's working up in the area that you live in. Like,
oh yeah, I was super proud. And then, you know, just to kind of tie this back around, like, when I met Juelz, like she was in like all her stuff, but like every time I did like a meeting or like a speech or anything, like where I was trying to bring like similar minds together, she was always there. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got associated with her, it was Panorama Park is when she actually got me a job to do film. And like they paid me like, you know what I'm saying, pretty good for at that time. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. And then that's the park like in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So like it was all really cool. And then once I saw like, all right, I'm be a little ghetto here, but this is my point of view. Like once I saw like where I'm from, like I never really knew like people really care about the community like that. You know what I'm saying? Or they really have plans to try to make things better. I didn't even understand that. So when I saw that in the community that one, be transparent, I live in, you know what I'm saying? And two, like I relate to all these people who live there. Like I am them at one point, you know what I'm saying? So when I met Juelz, she pushed out such this positive, like it was hope. That's what it was. That's what it is that you give hope to a community where there is none.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I rock with you for so long, is because of that. Like I saw that early. I saw it was selfless. You know what I'm saying? So like all of her acts weren't about her. It was about the community. You know what I'm saying?
How do you reach that community, Juelz? Like how do you, because you could be building things, but how do you actually talk to the people within the community? Like you have the people, the networks, and you have the people that will come to the groups, and you have the people that are trying to build. But how have you guys like gone out into the community?
So I think to like tie it back to Panorama Park, that was a huge project. So we were having events at the park basically to get people to come share their input on what they wanted to see come to the park. And just the amount of community input, there was like surveys going out and just so many different levels of trying to get people's input on it. And it was able to get like $9 million to get renovated.
Wow.
So it's going to be like a destination park.
That is so
Springs.
dope.
Yeah.
That's so huge for that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm a born and raised
And
native of Colorado
when I
Springs,
got
so
in,
that's
it was when they
huge.
were making a video to raise the money. It was before they got approved and all that stuff.
That was like
you know
our
what I'm
first
saying?
event ever was what he shot. And
And you found that people were coming out and they were giving their opinion, and they
the community really cared once they
Yes.
found that, hey, people actually want our input.
Are listening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What? And I love the fact that, you had the individuals, like you said, you had met so many individuals along the way. But what city council does is they meet, they bring people in, they give you, they'll put out these little posts like, hey, we're going to be meeting on this. You can come and show up and put your input. But they went into the community to do it, which is so dope because that's a different forum. And that makes, I feel like, with some mistrust and things like that of just the government in itself, that gives people the trust to be able to say, okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to put my input because I feel safe here to do so, as opposed to walking into.
And they're actually listening to me, and they're going to have a conversation
and you build
about
the numbers that way and then bring it even further. So that is... that's sweet.
And that's kind of what they've been able to do. So a part of the Panorama Park project, they created a youth advisory council. So like, I think it was like 15, like 11 to 17-year-olds that got to have input on the park and literally like designed the bouldering wall and everything.
I love that.
Yeah. And then they've been able to go present to, parks boards and city council and stuff like that.
Dope.
And so like empowering them and bringing it all together.
Giving them a voice.
Exactly.
Oh,
and that's a
so
program
dope.
in itself.
Yes.
Gosh, so many different moving pieces.
There's way too many.
I told you, Leah, this was going to be good.
Yes. So what else? I didn't think, but he did. He was like, I was like, I'm excited to hear because I have, heard a ton about you from Dana, just that how much respect he has for you and that, you guys, he's really took after your opinion, sought after kind of your knowledge and your wisdom too. And so I was really excited when he said, hey, we should bring Juelz on. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see, like, can she do it? And he said, she's game. I said, all right, let's do it.
Yes.
So no, I think that's
Now,
really.
I kept telling you it's going to be good. We got to make sure the recording doesn't fail.
Yes, and he was like, you should have seen when I told him. I wanted to use my cameras. So the promise was, because, you know, Dana's been teaching me the podcast, like for reals, like he's been teaching me like how to run it.
I'm gonna say something after this because I told
behind
Shannon
the scenes, because he doesn't really sit down and teach me. He's just like, here, do this, do that. This is what I do.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So
okay,
I'm like,
let me jump in because this is good. That's perfect part for me to jump in because let's be honest. I was trying to tell Shannon because Shannon wants to learn some of the things that I know.
Speaking
like,
of which, Shannon works behind the scenes for everybody, so you
shout out
guys
Shannon.
know who
we
she
love
is.
Shannon, and she's a fan of the podcast, so that was dope.
Yes.
But like when I was trying to tell her that, like when you told me about that, in my mind, people think I'm like really fancy in technology. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about these cameras. I just know how to work mine.
Yes.
So like when you were like, oh, these two cameras, they're not matching cameras, so there's two different ones, and I was like, I don't know about these cameras.
No, but you should have seen his face.
My face was uncertain.
He was like breathing heavy,
Whitney,
and I was just
stop
like,
it. Whitney, I'm
no,
clipping this.
that's
I'm
exactly
clipping this
how
for
I was.
you.
And I was like, oh God, like, okay. So then I started getting anxiety, like, okay, you don't want to do this. But the promise was, I told him, I said, Dana, when I get 2 cameras, like, we got to use my cameras because like he has all of these
And
pieces.
what did I tell you, Leah? I said, Leah, practice with Whitney.
Oh my God. No, you told me that today.
I said, Juelz is on today. You can't mess this up.
He said, Leah, if these cameras break down today on hers, we have to do we got to do a redo. I was like, all right, cool. Like that's
her story deserves to be heard.
Yes, it does.
We didn't get to use my cameras.
So this is what we have to do to get Dana to get focused on podcasts is
What?
bring people that he likes to talk to.
No. Don't do that. You always do that to me. You did it. You see how the podcast just goes left, right, come back center. Like hot dog.
Raw real. It's
Look,
real.
I've left all of our guests, just so we know.
Yeah.
I've
Yes.
left all of them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
They
just
were
giving
all
Dana a
my
hard time.
favorites.
Yeah.
Juelz might be my favorite.
So tell me what else that you do, Juelz. So you talked a little bit about, you know, just what you did with Thrive, where you're going with your journey and just kind of that waiting game. And then where, you know, what else are you placing yourself? Because he says you're involved in so many different things.
Yeah, so some commitments I have. I'm a part of the CSPD Community Leader Steering Committee. So every month I get to sit down with the leaders of CSPD and try to find ways to basically build relationships between
girl, are you
community
going to be on the
employees.
council?
So important.
Yeah,
Are
I've
you
been
gonna
told
run?
I should run, but
Can I ask like a
Dang.
question? Is it frustrating?
it's very frustrating.
Okay,
It's
because I
very
feel like
challenging.
I would
I'm
be
glad.
like,
Yes, I'm glad you said that because
like I would be biting at the lip to just
Yeah.
get.
this is so real. This is so
Woo,
real
no,
because
this is real.
is what we need. This is
Yes.
what we need. We need to have the conversations.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
every time I see you go to that meeting in specific, my ghetto ass thing like, what the hell is she doing? You know what I'm saying?
better be
I'm
talking
sure
for
a lot
us.
of people do.
But she's trying to represent for us.
Yes, that's so
like in
important.
building that relationship, somebody has to do it. But there is a side where you are human. You know the voice of the people. So speak about that process and dealing with that like push and pull.
Yeah, so I feel like
Can I ask about the corruption?
Well, she
Just saying.
probably just sees the politics.
We're gonna
I don't
keep
know
it.
what she
That's what
sees
I'm
there.
saying.
Politic friendly and
Yeah.
nice.
I'm just saying, like, you go into these
Yes,
places
yes.
and you have the right intention and you have the right intent
Yes.
to move people
Right.
forward and the community
Yes.
forward.
Right.
And then you start learning.
Yes.
That this is a system.
This is a system, and if
went
you
through
ain't a
that.
part of that system, then
Right.
you're out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the system was built.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's the challenge for me because I see the bigger picture and they just want to talk about what police can do to maybe be better, and I'm like,
Right.
but it's like
Yeah.
the bigger picture, like the whole criminal justice system.
Right.
It's like it's all of it, and so I struggle in those meetings because they're all about policy and we did it according to the books and yada yada yada, and I was like, but what about the trauma you inflicted
Right.
on our whole community?
Right.
Like you don't care about that part. I'm like, that's why they don't have trust in you. And so it's been a year or so, and I feel like we're finally trying to dive into like specific topics and like pick those apart.
Right.
But yeah, it's been really challenging.
Yeah.
Have you challenged them? Do you feel like you really like, 'cause they know your name, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I'm usually a quiet person in meetings, and I like to just kind of like sit back, listen, take it in, then create,
because you have to set a tone, I feel like, so you're respected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't just come in there like, rah, 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 rah,
yeah,
because then they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
you got to put on that customer service voice real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
For a while.
I push back a lot with them. It seems like somebody has to. So
Are
I was
you the
like,
most
all right.
vocal in that meeting versus others? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to be more of a voice in that meeting versus just like listening, because I don't think, even amongst like the different community members that are in there, I don't think they really have the full picture like I do.
Right.
Right.
Because I've been involved in a lot when it comes to the police relations with community. Like
Right.
I've been to different, like they did a illumination project where they basically come into community and like have conversations with community, and I've been a part of a few of those and organized one myself, and that was all before this ever started. And so
Right.
yeah, it's been
I
interesting.
bet you that was probably pretty heavy when that first started.
Yeah.
How much back do you have? Because I know like Yolanda, the city council woman, is in the community a lot and is one of the individuals. How many council members are there?
Do you know Yolanda?
9.
I have met her. She probably doesn't know me. I've met her once, and I know.
I'm about to say she rocked with Yolanda like
Well,
hard.
and Jackie too. Like she took up for Jackie a lot with her business and kind of threw her name out there, and I was really proud of that. Like, wow, like Jackie's she's getting her name out there even with these individuals as well. And so to see that, and to see that she's dropping names within the community.
That's a cool full circle thing to point out,
it
because
is.
Jackie was a guest on our podcast,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
she went through the program
Yes.
that we're describing called Thrive.
Yes.
Small world.
Yep. Yeah.
Talk to us a little about Thrive. I know we touched on it,
Yeah.
but talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's a entrepreneurial program, and basically it's an effort to revitalize our economy, and in a way, like basically teaching you that problems are opportunities,
Right.
and so create a business that addresses the problem, and then you can thrive.
Create a solution. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We got to meet a lot of those. You didn't get to come that night,
didn't
but
get
we
to
got to meet.
come.
I got to meet a lot of those
Yeah.
individuals the night that you had your little get together. So that was pretty neat.
Oh, yeah, your birthday.
All like individuals that were like just I was like, I like that person. I like that person. I like that person.
And they were
Like,
all entrepreneur people
Yes.
who have been through the program called Thrive.
yes,
awesome.
and the
Yeah.
diversity.
And let's
and
do this,
the-
because
yes.
I feel like I didn't hear all y'all conversation, but I feel like it was important to note, like in Thrive, the first thing they teach you is mindset.
Yes.
right,
Speak about
the
that.
entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
Oh, is that what they
Yeah.
call it?
That's what I was going to get back to when
Yes,
you had
yes.
just asked about how much of it was mental.
Right.
And when we first started talking, she said the very first step is about mental, like mindset. And I was
Yeah.
like, dang,
Yes.
like what
Yes.
businesses are starting? It's just like what I say about the schools. They should be teaching kids real life,
Yes.
real deal stuff.
Yes.
Like this is how you balance your budget. This is how you
Yes.
go to the bank and you make a deposit. Like these
Yes.
things that they don't teach people,
Right.
they have to learn themselves. It's the real life stuff.
Taxes.
I don't need to know about 1700.
I actually took a
maybe
course
I need
like
to know this much,
right.
but
I actually took a course like that, and I didn't get any credit for it. It was just like a miscellaneous course.
Yeah.
But I took a course my senior year that taught you how to do your taxes, how to file. You know,
Yes.
just
Sure,
your
they ain't had that in my
your
school.
checkbook.
Yeah, it wasn't in my
yeah,
school.
but that's important. Like
Doherty.
they should implement things like this.
Wasn't
like
in my
they should
curriculum.
have-
Never.
But again, like the pressure to take that class was like, well, it's not going to do anything for you, so you're kind of wasting your time taking this
No
class. And I'm
shit.
like, I would rather want to know how to.
So you
do my
didn't get a
checkbook.
credit. I missed that in the
No.
beginning. I didn't
Yes.
understand
No.
that.
No.
You
It
didn't
was-
get a credit to
No.
take this class.
No,
That's
no, no, no,
hilarious.
no.
offer,
Wow.
but
No, right.
This
wild.
rare
It was
class that's in no school curriculums.
I don't even know if it existed.
But
Doherty
it's so
anymore.
important.
It was extremely important.
God, that's hilarious.
So the
Yeah.
mindset part is where they begin.
Yeah, so we read the book Who Owns the Ice House, and it's basically about a guy that against all odds is creating a business off of providing people ice back in the day, and so it goes through a lot of different like thought processes around it, and then we go through the different things like budgeting and time blocking and all of that, and so
Gosh,
all the stuff that
basically-
you're really good at.
that's like
expert mode on the
That's-
time blocking.
that. Well, that's like
That's what we're not good at.
Rain taught me how to be good at it. My schedule is like color blocked.
I'm
maybe
trying
I'm not
to
good.
get her
Speak for
a
yourself,
little bit.
Dana.
I'm making progress with her Dana.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm not good.
Don't make me pull up my calendar right now. Let's see how pretty it is. Right. Blocked out.
Color coded.
You know, there's one of the things that
I've been keeping you up on your schedule.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. This is an important moment. Like,
gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep me aligned.
Yes.
And you have to have people like that,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, to fill in the weaknesses that you have are their strengths.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think our relationship will grow, is because her strengths are my weaknesses, clearly. You know what I'm saying?
I'm an artist, so I definitely feel you in that aspect. That like I'm not the organized person. I need that organization. I have a messy desk, but I know where everything is at.
Yeah.
Right.
And when people try to come in and like fix my stuff, I'm like, where the hell is this? Like I knew where everything was at.
Right.
But at the same time, it's so nice to be able to go into like your office and be like, oh, that's right there. Oh, and these are filed. So, okay. You know, as opposed to like, it does take me a little while longer to go through files or, you know, find things. So it's such an important piece. And it is so important in any kind of relationship that you are in to find somebody who complements you in the opposite way. You know, I say that a lot about my husband, is that, you know, he is the baseball dad. He is the one that was, you know, present to all of the games, you know, to begin with. And he complimented me in so many ways, that like I was the financial, I was the business, I was the, you know, and we worked together to make that happen. So
that's the dance like that you spoke about.
Yes.
I'll never forget that part. But
So important. So important.
This podcast is a little special to me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit. All right, what else we got going? What else we got going?
Well, so go back, which is just finish that piece, because that mindset is everything.
Because we started our podcast talking about like just mindset stuff.
Yes, and that piece that they even start with that is so profound to me, because if your mind ain't right, then
nothing is going to be right.
Nothing is going to be right. If your budget ain't right, nothing is going to be right. Like if you can't get your budget together in your own personal life, I guarantee you your business ain't going to look right.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and so that's what they basically are challenging you to do in that first phase, is like start thinking about things differently, start being intentional with your time, and then the nice thing is you transition into like a discovery phase where you're kind of you're validating your business idea. And so they make you do like all these different surveys asking people like, hey, would you pay for this? What part of this would you pay for? What part of this do you value? And so you really like start to feel, you know, confident in your business idea. And I think,
hey, there's a need out there.
Yeah. Right. So taking away that risk, I think, gives people the confidence to really dive into it.
If you're not a student, you're already a business owner, can you still take the program?
Yes.
Crazy.
You want to do it together?
I kind of want to do it.
I said no.
I was just
going to
save this for the end, but I was going to say, like, if somebody is interested in joining Thrive or wanting to be a part of the community, what do they need to do?
I said no to many classes. Just so you know, she's asked me all the time. And I keep saying no because I'd rather learn failing. I always tell her that. Let me just fail to success. Let me just keep failing. I tell her that for real. But if you did it, I would be ready to do it.
Yes.
But I'm be honest, like I feel like 75% of the class we already did.
Well, we probably do, but there's probably pieces and gems, and that's all you're looking for.
Right.
You go to a speech, and you know, not 100% of the speech that you're going to listen to is going to be like, okay, I took oh my God, but if they can drop one gem on you that you can take with you,
that
like,
you need in that time right then and there.
Yes.
That's
and
powerful.
Again,
that'll be worth it.
Guaranteed that you will go walk through that room and you're going to meet somebody.
That's why you read a book more than once, Dana, because you get certain things.
That's why I do listen to that thing.
So then you need to take the course.
Are you going to do it?
I kind of want to do it. I want to.
If you did it, then I would do it.
Okay, this is documentation.
Documented.
Heard it first.
And you really can hold him accountable, because
I'm the one that collects the application.
I've never said yes.
They're going to fill out the application after the podcast.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think, you know, with anything, I have not, and I've really thought about this wholeheartedly. Like I give, and you know, when I taking it back to sewing. And everybody has their different ways that they give, whether it's their time, whether it's their knowledge, their wisdom, whether, you know, it's a platform that they're sharing, whether it's a whatever.
You would be a lighthouse in that room for somebody, because you're an experienced entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're a different breed. You would be such a mentor to the people around you. I really mean that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
For real.
But I really have kind of looked at, and I going back to the whole government piece, I wasn't really talking about cops, just in case there's any cops listening.
There ain't no cops listening to your podcast.
Yes, she is.
I do have a few cop friends from the CSPD. So, no, but
we love y'all.
Yeah. No, going back to the government piece is that when I was trying to build a secondary business on top of my business here, I had to go through the processes of going through the government. And when I say government, it's the city of Fallon, which is a different beast than, Colorado Springs. And going through that process, I went in there with a good intention. I went in there with, I was excited because our mayor is Latino. And so I was like, oh, he's like going to be like, yep, we want to see more, Latin women in the community doing their thing. And I was so discouraged after I started going through the processes and realizing that they didn't want change. They didn't want different. They didn't want, these ideas were too big. They told me your business is too big for what this platform holds, or, because you have to understand the zoning and the codes. And then when you do think you understand the zoning and the codes, they say, oh, well, it's up to the planning interpretation, not yours. But it says right here that I can have a business that doesn't take up 35% of the principal use of the building, and I'm not taking 0%. So why can't I have a business there? Oh, because it's too big. Well, Colorado Springs says that if you're making, less than $1 million and you're a one-man band, you're a small business. Well, I'm a small business. Nope. Small businesses mean Mary Kay and, all of these Sensi's and things like that. That's what you can do here. Like, that's it. Yeah. And if you want to do something else, okay, here's what you're going to have to do. Yeah. And when I talk about corruption, I'm just going to say this because they know my name. And, when I started building this house, I said, you guys got to go down there. I can't go down there because as soon as I show my face down there, they might give you problems. Because I raised hell. I was one that if you don't speak up and if you don't say that's not right, or let me look into this, then
it'll never change.
Well, not only that, but they're going to tell you this is how it is until you look into it. And what I found, some of the things that they were trying to do to me down here was they were trying to shut off my access right here. This is a 10-acre property. And they said, we're going to cut this access off. And the only reason I'm telling you guys this is not me being like, oh, you're being paranoid.
Right.
The only reason why they were cutting off that access is because they knew on my plan that was going to be the entrance where we were going to start parking. And I had a whole parking because they told me I needed to create this. And so when I came in there, they shut it down and said, oh, well, we have to close that. And I was like, wow, okay. And if I would have gave in and said, okay, well, I guess you guys got to close it, because they were working on the road. And because they're working on the road, that means they have to bring everything up to date. And that was an unsafe entryway.
It requires them to do what they're supposed to do.
And so I looked into it and I said, well, wait a minute. It's one 10-acre property, but it's 2 lots of lands. This is 5 acres. This is 5 acres. And it's actually divided down the middle. So I said, well, I was planning to build a house there. Well, you're not doing it now. So that's not our problem. And I said, well, if I do build a house there, then I'm landlocked. And so I started looking into this whole landlock issue. Okay, well, what can they do? What can they not do? And they said, okay, well, if they landlock you, they have to build you another easement into your property. And the easement would have had to come over there on that road, which means that they would have had to spend their money to do it. And so when I started bringing those things up, what I did was I took this acreage and I put it under my name, created a different MLS with the El Paso County.
Ooh, smarty pants.
And said, well, now what are you guys going to do? Because now this property is owned by me and it's separate than my mom's. So now I need an entrance into my property. And they, well, wait a minute, And then there was lies. They were telling me that, the people that were building the street said it was unsafe. I called them up. I was just causing havoc in the sense that it wasn't like I was trying to be, but I wanted to know. I wanted the knowledge, because it was like, if you don't know and you say yes, that's it. They would have shut me down. They would have shut the access down, and I wouldn't have known any different. Yeah. Right. But I fought and I won, and they couldn't shut it. Right. And but if I didn't take the time to know, I wouldn't have. So it was very discouraging to me, and so I'm glad that you have individuals like Yolanda or people that are supporting the community as well and showing up. Yeah. Not just talking the talk. Right.
Inviting you to the table.
Yes.
That's what's really happening.
Yes.
And I would see that a lot of different tables.
And I see, girl, I'm just going to tell you right now, I see you up in that.
What? Yes.
I see you up in that government, like that whole little.
So that's what everybody says. Okay, city council only gets paid $6,000 a year, and it's easily a full-time job. So I don't know how I'm going to manage that.
It's
girl,
okay.
Look at God found a way for right now. Maybe he's already just got you prepped for everything you've been doing.
He's put you in every
can handle
position.
All of this.
He's set you up
Follow
for
your
everything.
Heart.
Yes.
I know Yolanda's seat comes up in 2023, I think. So
okay. She already knows. Okay. She already knows. I'm telling you, because I think that if you want to make the biggest difference, you do have to get that seat. You do have to be like, okay, no, I'm here.
Mm-hmm. I'm at the top.
And you have to sow and put in the work and build your roots, and you have to start from somewhere.
She's already prepped.
Yes.
She's already prepped. She's got a community following her.
She got a
that's like, wait, she's actually doing change.
That's why I said you're being groomed.
Yes.
God is grooming you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, that's great.
And just to kind of tie it back, the harvest is always bigger than what we expect.
Yes.
We tend to put limitations on what God can do in our life, because we're thinking in our mindset. We're thinking about what we can create, where we can go. And he's like, no. Like, baby girl, like,
don't worry about that 6,000. We're going to get you more over here, but you can make the impact.
Do you know what I mean?
Still,
and the one that I was listening to that you said you couldn't mess with today was Michael Todd again speaking, but he was just talking about how when he first started the church, and he didn't know anything, and he had no education, and he just didn't have any experience. And he walked into the building, and he says knees were shaking, his voice was shaking, and he said God in his heart told him, look, we have to raise money to get new like videos and speakers and things, because God has something in plan. That's God just said, I got something in plan. And at that point in that service, he says, we raised $8,000. He goes, now some people may look at that because they watched Crazy Faith and they've seen like where Transformation Church has gone to. And yet that was huge to them, that little piece. But God took that portion and took it to, they're giving away $3.5 million in one church service.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that gives me chills, and that goes back to the sowing as well, because he says what you put out is what you are going to receive.
Yes.
And tenfold what you put out.
Yeah.
And that harvest is great.
Yes.
I keep seeing this quote that's like, I want to be blessed with enough money that I can bless others.
Yes.
So that's goals.
Yes. Wow. That's just so you know. I always say this because they're like, I heard this quote. Or somebody said this, and I'm like, well, Jesus said it first.
Here she goes.
Just so you know, Jesus said it first. That's a shirt. That's a shirt.
Jesus said it first.
Jesus said it first.
That's right. Well, I'm just saying.
To say, well, Jesus said it first.
Yes. Well, take it back to Abraham, because Abraham was a man with faith.
Yes.
And we kind of talked about that with Jackie, where he was blessed because he had faith, and God called him his friend. But he told him, I am blessing you to bless nations. Like that legacy. He said, look up at the stars. He says, and count them. He says, and that is going to be the number of descendants that I give to you. His wife was in her 90s when she got pregnant. They had some things that came in. They were in the waiting game. They were waiting for this promise to happen. And he had faith that it would. And it exceeded abundantly, overflowing what he expected.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's powerful, man. Yes, how else you going in this podcast? You got a scripture?
What are you talking about? That
mic drop.
That was it. It's a wrap.
What else you got to say? You got anything else you want to get off?
I don't think so.
How you doing, Whitney?
I'm doing good. If anybody wants to get involved in any of the stuff that you were talking about, the community
any
stuff,
help that's needed,
like just let our listeners know how they can get involved. Yes.
Yeah, I try to keep the Daily Dose 719 Instagram informed. That's the one I'm most active on. Okay. And I'm always like putting out questions or whatever on there to kind of get community input, and also sharing all the events that are happening, whether it's, comedy at Club Tilt, or if it's, community input opportunity, then, it's all on there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Daily Dose 719.
Daily Dose.
You're not ending with a quote. You always do.
I got it right here.
I was like, I'm not just ending like that.
Whitney's a little feisty today.
Oh. He's using my words because I called him. I said, what did I tell you that you were this? I said, you're...
Dana's just being a brat just in general.
No,
so it's fine. Continue with you.
That's what I did. Yeah, I told him he was feisty. I was like, you are a little...
Sassafras.
Sassy. That's what I said. You are sassy this morning. Like, you are a little sassy.
Sassafras.
Like, holy moly.
You see how they treat me?
It's love.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to read to you guys do you have any final words, Dana Keith, before I go into this?
I just want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? This has been a good one.
Yes.
I feel like
it has.
One of my favorite things, and I'm going to just be honest, like I think like one of the gifts that God has given me is bringing certain people together.
Yes.
Like, I'm friends with a lot of people from a wide spectrum, And like this is family to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all a family, she's a family, and this is bringing two families together. So this was fun for me.
Well, we just want to say
so I love
thank
y'all.
you as well, because you bring something to this table that is powerful that nobody else can do and nobody else can bring. And
you don't want Shannon or somebody to fill my spot?
You know what? Let's ask the listeners.
I was trying to have a moment here.
Right.
And he
She
got
really
a little,
was.
like,
Brat. He's being a brat again.
A little bratty, a little sassy.
Yes.
What'd you call me? Sassafras? What the fuck is that?
I said sassafras.
I don't know what that is either.
It's a behavior that you're projecting right now.
All right, let's hit the quote. All right, let's hit the quote.
I'm done.
Let her finish saying.
That's what I was just saying, that you bring something and people see that and that can't be replaced. It cannot be like. Whitney and I had a sideline conversation and said, what we would miss the most about your presence is the fact that you are real, that you are raw, that you are super authentic, that you're vulnerable in your own way to be able to speak to other individuals, and you allow that to be open.
Yes.
And that can't be faked.
No.
I love y'all.
So
we love you.
That's a compliment. I can't interrupt you. I'm gonna just take it.
just say thank you.
I love y'all. Thank you.
So I'm going to end with this scripture. It's James 5:7-8 says, basically Elijah was a human being just like us. And Elijah he was one of God's prophets, but it's saying Elijah was a human being. So he's reminding us that he was human just like us.
Right.
And he prayed fervently that it might not rain. And for 3 years and 6 months, it did not rain on the earth. Then he prayed again, and the heaven gate gave rain, and the earth yielded its harvest. And that scripture is important because it's reminding us that that we look at the word, and we look at these individuals, and we look at the prophets and the apostles and the disciples, and they were human beings. And he's reminding us in the scripture that he was human just like you, but he prayed and he asked for what he wanted, and he did it very often, and so it was done to him. So
I love that.
Beautiful. Between the Sheets podcast,
Between
y'all.
the Sheets, guys. We out.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Dope.
This is where the outro. You can put the overview right here. Yeah, you put it at the end, not the end.
I love you, Shannon.
I love you, Shannon. I love you too, girl.